right, guys, we have got quite a mess here. I'm looking at the bottom end of the Quadzilla. Have a look. Oh, man. She is looking ugly. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see in there. Oh, you can see pieces of piston skirt in the bottom. If you guys didn't see in the last Quadzilla episode, we've got a busted skirt dropped right down in the crank and just got shredded. Luckily, I think the cases are going to be okay, but we have to split these things in order to clean out all those fragments and everything. We have to check the crank. The crank feels good. I don't know if anything got in the lower crank bearing. Really, it should be replaced. This is kind of going to be more on the lines of a budget build just to get this thing back together going. So we'll see what that looks like. I want to see what the crank bearings look like. I'd really like to flush everything, and honestly, I think crank bearings are a must for a replacement. I mean, really, we just won't know until we start tearing the thing apart, so let's get to it. I've got a brand new Suzuki service manual here. I couldn't find a climber for this thing. We probably won't need that for disassembling it, but it is there. And I've also got a casket laid out for our dead Quadzilla. This is where all the engine parts and everything are going to go so that we can keep it all nice and clean because, well, organized anyways, because we got the YZ build going on over here. We still haven't done the internals. I just don't want to mix up any of the parts, although everything for the Quadzilla is freaking huge and probably wouldn't fit in this tiny YZ 125 engine. Look at that, adjustable timing. Got the elongated holes there so you can turn this. Gotta be careful with that, it's a reverse thread. Everything's stuck. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. We're going to use the crankcase splitter on this thing. Slide this baby in place. That's a good sign, at least. Seems to be splitting, no problem.
Whew, man. God damn.
Man, these cases did not want to come apart. I think the crank was holding it up. See all these little bits of skirt and stuff jammed down here? It was dragging on both sides. It just didn't want to let the cases come apart nice and easy. So you guys can probably see we got some case damage down here. Some of those bits got shoved in here and it blew out that portion of the case. And then on the other half, up here. Now, it looks bad, but the good news is I can probably, I'll Dremel that out, fill it with weld, and then use the Dremel to shape it, bring it back to its original form. And then when I surface the cases, they should be okay. But man, that thing is blown out. All right, let me flip this case half over, and we'll pull the crank out entirely, see what the other side looks like. The good news is this crank bearing is good. Actually, it looks like somebody... So in Quadzillas, they do these brass inserts around the bearings, and it looks like this one's already been done. There's already a brass insert. So that's good news, at least. All right, let's see what we can do here. Maybe this side will come out a little bit easier. You know, I guess I probably should pull the transmission out. Now what we're looking for when we're doing this is that the crank pushes out and the bearing doesn't. I really doubt that will happen though, because the other side had the brass insert, so I would assume that this side does too, which is the fix for when the cases wear out and the bearings. Yep, we're good. Bearing is nice and tight, but it actually doesn't look like this side has the insert. That's alright though, because it looks like the bearing's in there real good. Man, that did some damage, that is for sure. I do think this is savable though. This is the worst of it right here. Like I said, I can cut that out, build up the weld, and then shape the case back to how it was originally. You can see this side does not have a brass insert around the crank bearing, but the bearing is tight. You don't want the bearings coming out on the crank. You want the bearings staying in the case, because otherwise that means that the case can be a little bit worn out and the outer race can actually spin in the cases. And at that point, your cases are shot, or you have to get the brass inserts. But I think we should be good to go in that region. So looks like I got a little bit of welding to do and clean up. As for the crank, I think we're actually okay. I don't feel any play at all in the up and down motion. So this thing ate a skirt. Doesn't necessarily mean it did anything to the bearing. I'm going to have to clean that out and inspect it. That's to be determined. You can see this has been rebuilt before. Ooh, man. So here's all our engine parts laid out. good news and bad news, I guess. Got the Penn State Cup, yeah. Not even alumni. I don't even know why I'm cheering. Anyways, transmission appears to be good. That's good. All these other pieces look good. I didn't see any issues. I think the worst thing that happened was the bolt that snapped on the other side of this water pump. Shouldn't even been messing with the impeller. I should have just left it on there, but you know, we'll take care of that. And on the chassis, some things I noticed. The rear carrier bearings are shot. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a little bit of play there. They're on their way out. So those are going to get replaced. We got some Obor tires. The Obor Advent. It's the Advent S. So that actually, it's their competition compound. Super soft. These are supposed to be like ultra grippy. And then we got some AMS rims on there, brand new rims. And you'll notice it is a 4-lug pattern because the Quadzilla actually has 5-lug. But a lot of people swap over to Z400 or KFX 400 hubs. They're a direct swap. We had these, John had these. They're KFX 400 hubs. Painted them the Suzuki blue. Should match really nicely. We'll swap them out because these old tires, there's no way we were going to put down the power with these. These are wasted. All right, well, it looks like I got my work cut out for me. So the next step is going to be taking all these pieces, put them in the parts washer, clean them up so I can get a better look at them. And then I guess I'll just repair these cases. It's really weird. I forgot to point this out, but I don't know whoever did this work before, I don't know what they used as a case sealer, but it shouldn't be running in the cases like that. So that just kind of makes me question the work that was done on this engine in general, but it kind of just is what it is. That's the nice part about taking things down entirely, because now, you know, we're gonna know exactly what we're working with. After I'm done, it'll be all together, nice and solid. We won't have any issues, hopefully. So if you guys are enjoying this content, please remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that little notification bell. That way you'll be alerted whenever I put up another video. Also, don't forget to check out Project Grape Ape. That's a YZ125 144cc big bore. We're building the motor for that thing. It's really turning out really, really nice. The next video will probably be assembling the motor on that. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.